Right, letting everything load up here. Let me give a moment for all my streams to load. Everything comes up any moment now. All right, I think we're good everywhere. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Just thought I would sit down, chat with you lovely guys and gals, do a Q&A. On the tubes, I thought I had deleted the entire block list and just kind of setting a little bit stricter stuff in here. But apparently it's bugging out. Some people are saying, no, they're still not unblocked. I've done everything I can. Maybe it's a bug in the system. They gave me a thing to where I did a one time and it showed everything cleared from the block list. I'll see what I can do later because I'm actually trying to do that. And, I'll see if I can set rules or not later. But it's showing there's nobody in the list. So I can't remove anybody from the block list at this point because it's saying it's empty on my community tab. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about so people think I'm messing with them. All right, let me go to the permissions and you guys will see what I mean. So the community moderation, this is normally where they are. All right. Well, I don't want to try to show my whole screen here. I'll screenshot it later and show people what I'm talking about. But at this point, I can't really see anyone in the block list, but I went and checked someone who had been previously blocked and it shows they're still a blocked user when I go to their channel. So it's really weird. I'll see what I can do to fix it though, guys. But in the meantime, let's talk about current events. Please give me a like as soon as you guys get in here, get questions, get comments, all that stuff going. All right, our topic, the vein was waving at you. There you go. Topic of the day is going to be brief, and then we'll get over into whatever other people want to talk about, whether it's fitness or other stuff. Candace Owens is calling, and let me be clear, I don't even like Candace Owens for the most part. But as I said earlier, credit where credit is due. I can dislike someone, right? I can dislike someone and still give them credit when they say something that's worth saying or they do something worthwhile. That's called being intellectually honest. But she called this out, and I saw it this morning or last night, where she's saying, look, why aren't there more investigations into this? Why is everyone so sure that they have the guy? And I think that's a valid question to ask. And let me be clear. It's because of the size of this particular situation and the scope of it, it absolutely makes sense, though, that people need to be asking that question. Even if this guy is found guilty, even after he's executed, because he probably will be, we should be looking into this further and making sure there were not other interests involved. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? I am not a conspiracy theorist. Hey, Bogo, to your question, I have no idea. I know nothing about the man. So I know nothing about the situation. I know nothing really about his history. So how would I even know? I have no details of anything with the Luigi situation to give you an answer. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. No, I didn't. I haven't actually seen that video of him doing it. But as far as the other thing goes, though, really, she's right. Candace is right on this one. Hey, Bogo, but that's irrelevant. If I haven't seen the footage, then it's largely irrelevant, right? I have no data points to draw from. But back over to the point. She's right, though. This is a big enough attack on our democracy when a person is killed over free speech like that we need to be digging further into it. The problem is we probably are not going to be digging into it, right? Unfortunately, and she's asking the question, why aren't people doing it? Why isn't his family, why his wife, why isn't his organization doing it? you know, and I think it needs to be dug into further, just like we can't sweep it under the rug like they did with JFK. Right. All right, let's go down to these other questions down the row. We've got a lot of questions in here. Do you find Candace Owens attractive? I don't personally, but everyone has their own tastes. There seems to be weird stuff, but who knows exactly, right? Did you see the letter that he wrote to Netanyahu? Who is he? You guys need to be extremely specific. Please don't use pronouns when discussing human beings, because otherwise I don't know who in the hell you're talking about. JFK? See what I mean? Who's he? The shooter? Charlie Kirk? Like, I hate when people, when describing a person, when we're talking about multiple people, when they say he or she. Okay, thank you. All right. Yes, it's just very helpful if you do that. Okay. Charlie Kirk, I thought this was the topic. Well, it was Candace Owens' statement. No, I did not see the letter that Charlie Kirk sent to Benjamin Netanyahu. Did you see the letter that he wrote? I just tuned in. Okay, fair enough. No, I have not seen that letter. Maybe I'll look into it. I've heard people's theories on this topic, by the way. I have heard people. One of my clients actually brought it up to me during a consultation, not a consultation, a regular client call the other day. Sorry, guys, I got a lot of messages coming through. All right. All right, let's come back over to the topic. The Vanilla Gorilla says, should look into someone else instead, sitting president who actively tries to ensure in the media by suing them, also suing the law firms, university. What are you even talking about there? All right. Did you notice the Freemason ring Erica Kirk wore in her video where it shows his hands in the casket? No, I did not. How do you deal with anxiety, coach? Like, I just deal with anxiety, man. I don't have any, other than my PTSD, I don't have any other anxiety disorder. So Max, I'm not really sure what you're asking me. You're going to have to be very specific with what sort of anxiety and in what situation, right? Yeah. I don't have any personal general strategies for dealing with anxiety. Maybe, I don't know, that might be a question for a therapist. I mean, I know a lot of things, but I'm not an expert on anxiety. Lacey says, I don't think Israel was involved with Charlie. You can see why people would say that. That's an entire complex set of conspiracy theories. I don't even know what to make of any of that. Like, how do I put it? That seems like a really deep rabbit hole. I'm just not willing to go down. However, I've seen a lot of stuff out there floating around that too. I'm going with probably not, though. Do you think girls that say they don't like muscular dudes don't know what they are saying? I think everyone has different tastes, dude. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So he asked Max, is he sleeping 8 hours? You said yes. Erica Kirk family has a dedicated sign for this. What? I don't even know what that means. All right. Hey, Leighton. So put that all into English. I don't actually know what the Zion Gate is. So you're going to have to go into a lot more detail. Powerlifting singlet recommendations. SBD is usually what I've done. For all my meets for the past 12 years, I've done SBD. I have a couple different ones. It's like the Gucci of powerlifting apparel. Do you think most women like muscular men? I think most do, to be fair. We got Lionel in here spamming in the Facebook. How you doing, Lionel? Always spamming in Spanish. Malik Baxter. Hey, Coach, what's up? Is a 550 max deadlift mean a big back? It means certain parts of your back will be big, but it's possible to not have big lats with that, right? It will contribute, but you need to be doing some lat work along with it. It'll give a contributory impact on the lats, but it's going to be a lot of the rest of the back is what's going to be hit. Erectors, traps, the whole trap, all the way down to the mid back, and so on. Now, if you get good at pull-ups also while doing that, yeah, you'll have a pretty big back. Defiant says to Max, maybe think about what exactly is causing your anxiety. If it's a certain issue, try to map it out and plan to deal with that. Right. So again, you can't just take something like anxiety and say, hey, do you have tips for anxiety? Like, this is a highly detailed conversation. Like, we need to know the specific anxiety and the different situations and your background as to why you have anxiety in that situation. Like, this is like an hour-long psychiatric consultation, and I may not be the best person to help you with that. Make sense? Because if something was as simple as, hey, do you have tips for dealing with anxiety? It's like, well, we could just get rid of therapists. Man, if I had good, just general tips right here in a live stream to give you, dude, we could just not even bother with therapists and psychiatrists anymore. Done. See the problem? I'm probably not going to read all that out, Lacey. This is also what I have heard people speculate. Any advice for someone feeling hopeless? And I can't even say that word out loud. My advice would be you need to call the helpline. So the ladder, Malik, the ladder, you need to call the helpline immediately. Get off here, call the helpline. That is the only answer I can probably give you legally. So if I give you any other advice beyond, go over to a helpline that helps with that stuff right now and call them. Right? That's the only responsible answer I can give you. They're free hotlines that help with that ladder situation. You need to go call one. Not in 5 minutes, not in 10 minutes. You need to go do it right now. Coach's orders. Okay. If it was just, had you used just the word hopeless or depressed, I would have given you a very different answer, but you threw that part in. If you're having those sort of feelings, you need to immediately talk to a crisis intervention person right now. Okay. Again, I'm a strength coach. This is not my ability to walk you through this. This is outside of my wheelhouse. Right. Like if you were a friend and told me this right here to my face, I'd be like, well, let's go look up one of these numbers. Maybe you call them right now and I'm going to leave you alone with them. Would probably be what I would do. That's what I would have them do. So, Lee says, I don't think it because I don't think he changed his stance. He had to react to the younger generation figuring out. Yeah, I'm not reading all that out, Lacey. I'm not risking causing myself problems reading that statement out because it could be taken out of context and remixed by somebody. People love to take things I say. So I got to be careful reading out certain questions because then it will be taken as Jason Blaha said it. So, but obviously I'm going to leave the comment in here. Dropkick Jesus says, good afternoon, Coach. Good afternoon, Dropkick. How you doing, man? What else we got going? This chat was picking up and then it kind of slowed down. 07 Dropkick. But yeah, apparently me deleting the entire block list is not actually having deleted the entire block list. Maybe it takes time to kick in. But I have physically done it. My login in Creator Studio says nobody is blocked on my channel. So I can't remove anybody even if I wanted to, because there's no one in it. All right. We'll see how this pans out. All right. We might do a test subject in here. If some troll comes in, I may do a test run on them just to see if I can go block them on their thing and then do the thing and check and see if it puts them on the list and then block it and see if it removes them. Ridiculous. All right, I need a hater to show up on a new account so I can test this hypothesis. Just kill 2 sets of 120-pound preacher curls. I'm aiming to get veins like Coach. 120-pound preacher curls, you possibly are aiming to rip a bicep off the bone unless you have monstrous arms. You know, they tell you guys preacher curls are a great exercise, but they're one of the #1 causes of ripping biceps. 120-pound preacher curl, unless you have massive arms, is absolutely ego lifting. And, well, you don't have great bicep veins during the healing process after a surgical reattachment. So just an FYI, Max. All right. He says 60 on each side. So you're putting a 60 pounds of plates on each side of a bar? Yeah, that doesn't sound right. So how did you come up with 120 pounds? There's some problems with your math. I think they're okay if you're using the full range of motion weight and not cheating. Yeah, Max, you're either trolling or you're really dumb and don't know how to read weight stuff. All right. Running text, he means test. EQ, how much MVP would help with joints? I'm not doing gear chat in these because I'm also on Facebook and they don't like that. So if you need gear chat, gear talk status consultation level stuff, I charge $100 an hour. Yeah, Max is labeled on both ends. 60 pounds total. He's talking about he's doing preacher curls with 120 pounds. Gotcha, my bad. I do one-on-one gear consultations and video calls. We do those. You can see where a novice would get confused. A barbell labeled 60 pounds is not confusing at all. And if you're doing 60-pound preacher curls, you're not a beginner. If you're doing if you're doing preacher curls all the way down and coming all the way up and not cheating in a preacher bench, you're not a beginner. You probably bench 315. Right? If you're doing full range of motion strict preacher curls with 60 pounds, yeah, you're not a beginner. All right. Did you see them destroy Dr. Mike's PhD? No, vanilla. I had someone link that to me already in a DM that was talking to me about it. Wall curls and incline curls, seated other way on lat pull down like an incline curl with the arm blaster. Ted gets all complicated with his curls. They posted the entire thing and it's currently actively ripped apart. Currently, it's still So what do you mean? Can you give me the cliff notes there, Vanilla? So what is the actual problem with his PhD? Is they're saying that it's not like accredited or something? right? A bag of chips says 500 calories on the front, 500 calories on the back. That doesn't make it 1,000 calories. So those preloaded bars, if it says it's a 60 pounds preloaded bar, the whole bar is 60 pounds. Destroy Mike's PhD, but take advice and coaching from 20. I need a context for this statement. Destroy Mike's PhD, but take advice and coaching from 20-year-olds on gear. Who are we talking about? You see the problem with your statement? We need a context for this statement. Who is destroying Mike's PhD and who is taking advice from coaching from 20-year-olds on gear? And who are these 20-year-olds on gear that they're taking coaching advice from? You see, you guys got to give me some context here, guys. Come on, work with me a little bit. I see the logic now, but you must understand. I'm hearing face pulls are excellent for good shoulder health, but seeing conflicting guidance on exactly how to pull the eye level above it. Oh man, how to perform them. Right? Is subject to a great deal of debate, unfortunately. It's filled with statistical errors, grammar errors, and he just copy pasted a lot of them over and over. So are you talking about his doctoral thesis? Is that what you're, Vanilla? So are you saying that Mike's doctoral thesis, this is what you're describing? I'm assuming I'm drawing this inference. Kirk, are you into arm wrestling at all? No, not really. I watched Over the Top when I was a kid. They, you know who, are stealing the tomatoes from this garden. Okay. Do you watch a lot of? I don't watch a lot of political stuff. I just catch the clips. I watch some stuff here and there. Comes through my feed. I try to keep up with the basics, but I am not an extremely political person. But I'm happy to get on to discuss world events. As someone who is not super political and not deeply entrenched into any ideology at this point, I don't know. I feel like I can bring some basic common sense to these topics, right? Because I don't have a specific ideology, right? I would describe myself as right-leaning. I am very pro-Second Amendment. That is probably the only political topic I am super passionate about is the Second Amendment. And on that one, I am as extreme as possible. But on most stuff, I'm reasonably moderate. I think through each individual issue based upon its merit rather than because some side or party said it. But as far as Second Amendment, I would be classified as pretty extreme. Like I do take it literally with the shall not be infringed. I don't believe in background checks. I don't believe in registration, right? I don't believe that any person who is safe enough to be let out of prison should be restricted from carrying. And it's that simple. You're too dangerous to carry. They're too dangerous to be on the street. Done. Are they an American citizen? Are they not locked up or incarcerated? That's all I need to know. All right. Someone else had a PhD and access to manage it through the whole thing. Okay. It's Solomon Nelson that ripped apart Mike's. Okay, got it. Favorite can still carry Glock 19. I think it could be Jason in arm wrestling match. Okay, maybe. You might. Considering I don't have any arm wrestling experience, there's a good chance you might, in spite of me being a decently strong guy. Are you doing anything fun for Halloween? I'm not going to say what I'm going to do for any holidays. I keep my private life offline at this point. You should watch some of Rebecca Hargrave. She does a show called The Backlash. I don't know. Coach is a tank. I think he could take the challenge. Gotcha. That's fair. Right. I'm now in a great position to keep my entire life completely off the internet now successfully. Information blackout to people who hate me and obsess over me. Like all they will get is what they get from my live streams at this point. Right? So if I don't say it here, you don't have access. Operation Blackout is in full effect. The EMP strike was successful, Coach. Awesome, man. Good to know. Good to know. Is that cherry soda? Objectively, no. No, since I don't drink soda. This is water with Sonic cherry limeade and potassium citrate in it. Coach, is it okay if I show up to your house for a training session? I will use deadly force for you stalking. If you show up at my home, you are not welcome. See how easy that is? Any random person from the internet who shows up, I will consider you a threat of immediate bodily harm or death. That is my official legal statement. Okay, thoughts on celebrities who claim to work out 4 hours a day for the role of bullshit. Also thoughts on those making drastic body changes for the roles. I've discussed this a million times. No, they're not working out for 4 hours. They're getting good training, eating plenty of food, and they're taking lots of drugs. Hey, Lacey, if I don't say that, then I am welcoming people to my home and I lose my self-defense policy against stalkers. Does that make sense? So, right. But do you see the point? So if I were to give a public permission to someone in a live stream, I am then giving public permission to everybody. I could then be charged with murder for pew-pewing on a stalker. I've reduced my defense. So, all right. From the ban list. All right. Have you commented on how Mike Israel's PhD thesis is? No, but everyone else has been talking about it in here. It's been a topic of conversation, which I think is interesting. I mean, let's be realistic. Mike is a businessman more than an academic. And I've said this many times. Mike promotes a lot of ideas that are entirely to sell products. They're not based upon science. And he promotes them as if they're based on research with a lot of his stuff, to selling his app, to selling his programs, but they're not based on any research. Okay. Right? They're not based on any research. Was Tarzan a virgin before he met Jane, or was he clapping gorilla cheeks? I think it was chimpanzee cheeks, Ted. Man, I don't want to speculate on bestiality in fictional characters. Let's just skip that one. All right. I mean, my live stream can go in a lot of strange directions, but I think that's a little stranger than I'm willing to go. You know, we have to have limits. We got to have limits to these things, guys. And I'm gonna say that's definitely at the limit of what we're willing to discuss here. I think we have found a boundary, which, yeah. Thanks for shutting that down for the good of humanity. Right. I think that's one that we need to shut down just for the good of humanity. Let's just pretend we didn't see that and move on. My enemy says my aunt had to post no trespassing signs because of the crackheads wanting handouts. Yeah, that's not cool. I mean, I answer my door with a 45, even for solicitors, and then inform them there's a no soliciting sign on the neighborhood. They're not supposed to be here. They can get fined. No, no. I didn't invite you. Usually when anyone is on their way to see me, I get a, hey, I'm ETA 5 minutes, right? I haven't watched any fitness, right? Jason, did you watch Alex Leonidas' New Day of Eating? He is plant-based and gets all his protein from beans and lentils. Do you think that could, no, that's not optimal. He's getting some of his protein from Frenchie though too, right? If you know what I mean. I'll do so. I didn't mean in a weird way. I just want to come out. Oh, I don't eat junk food. Yeah, but again, you're a stranger from the internet. And I don't drink beer. I'm completely sober. So I actually do not allow alcohol inside my home. Just an FYI. That is actually a rule that I have. I do not allow alcohol inside my home. And that's just one of my rules. God, I hate feral hog. It's so disgusting. But given that I do have a lot of experience neutralizing these particular animals, like 50 plus of them in my life, I feel confident that forced to pick between wild boar or starvation, that I could successfully survive off of them. So here's my question. The most important question: do I have a knife? I've got a knife. I've got a decent knife too. Oh yeah, I'm good. I can survive indefinitely, assuming there's a breeding population of them and they can keep up. I got a nice, good Texas Bowie knife. Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah. And I'm on an island. Is Jane Goodall responsible for the AIDS epidemic? She was celibate for 7 years in the jungle with those monkeys. No, Jane Goodall was around chimpanzees. And the spread of HIV is from, I believe, the green monkey. I believe is the species. Right? Where did I get a temporary ban for using the S word? You might have. You could have. Yeah, their AI hits people pretty hard for stuff. No need for a knife. You can move. No, dude, I want the knife. I want a knife. If I'm trapped on a desert island, I want a knife. Like that is, again, basic survival 101. A knife is a game changer, right? Knife is an absolute game changer. A good knife will really make or break your survival in a wilderness scenario. Because not only for the hunting of the animals and the skinning and tool and everything else, even for making other weaponry. I'd be making spears. If I got a knife, okay, Max, if I have a knife, I have spears. Do you watch any boxing or UFC? No, I did watch the Tyson Paul fight and the stuff leading into it, though. I did watch that. No, dude, if I'm out there on the island and I got a knife, dude, I can make some serious spears. Right. Plus, the knife lets me make all sorts of tinder. I mean, it lets me make lots of stuff. I could even make wood spears using my campfire and charring the edges and sharpening them. Definitely take a look at Mike's PhD being read. You might find it interesting. Coach, is it normal to get erections during heavy deadlifts at the gym? No, maybe squats. I don't know about deadlifts. Have you ever had periods in your life? I've never had a period. I'm a man. In your lifting career where you were spinning your wheels and questioned if it was worth continuing? If yes, how would you deal with it? No, I've not been in that situation, but if I were, I would suck it up and get back to training. Right? Stuff a tampon in it and get back to training. It'd be fine. Right. What was this weak stuff? Talking about quitting. No, man. That's not what we do here. Maybe some grilled coconuts, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what else on this. We need details about what else is on this desert island, though. You know, for this desert island scenario they're describing. So he's already told me what knife I have. Rough idea. We know there's boar. What other sort of plants is there on this island? Right. Is this a tropical island? So where is it located? What sort of fish might be nearby? Not that I can stand fish, but I suppose in a survival situation. You are killing me though. It's like you're having to live on wild boar and fish, and we know how much you hate barrel hog. You don't want to eat it, even though I wipe them out. Killing me, guys. Putting me in this situation. Right? They're gonna put me in this situation. Maybe it's inhabited with natives. Hardy coastal vegetation like beachwater glory, salt tolerant grasses, and low scrub plants thrive near the sandy edges. Okay. All right. We got coconuts on this island too. I'm assuming some trees. Because these wild boar have to be eating something too. Very descriptive. Tropical, so we got coconuts. Okay. So we'll have fish nearby. I can't eat any of the crabs, unfortunately. Due to shellfish allergy. But, okay. So we've got vegetation, we've got plants, we've got some freshwater fish, I've got wild pigs, I've got a knife. All right. I can desalinate my water if need be. I mean, I could survive indefinitely, I suppose. Right? I'm hoping my knife is stainless. Would I eat a monkey if I had to? Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't be a problem for me. I don't like a lot of wild game, but I can hunt and eat wild game. I don't think eating monkey would be much different than a squirrel. Right? I don't like squirrel, but I've eaten it. I think you could do it, Coach, if you bring in a bowie knife on a boat. It's stainless, right? Also, we've got a question. Yeah, how did we get here? Did we have part of a boat? Did a plane crash in the ocean? Because I'm not going to be hanging out in boats. It's not my thing. Like, this is probably going to be a plane crash scenario. Right. I don't know. All right, but I guess it's just where we happen to find ourselves. All right. So yeah, not a problem. I'd survive. I know how to find it. I know how to make fresh water if need be. I've got a knife, so making tinder for fires and all that, totally doable. Yeah, it's easy mode. That's why I had to ask about the knife. That makes it way easier. Can do a lot. it's both intact. You can use the lumbar. There's 3 weeks of MRE. There's all sorts of stuff. Well, you've made a really easy scenario. Like you've. So why would we even ask at this point? All right. This took up a large chunk of the Q&A asking about this desert island scenario. So I didn't mean to take up. That's all good, man. But this is a fun scenario, right? Yep. But yeah, that knife becomes pretty much your most important tool there. So that's absolutely a game changer. A good stainless Bowie knife like you described. Yeah, we're gold. Right. The trickiest part will be keeping up with the water, assuming there's no fresh water sources there. I'm going to have to desalinate everything or be careful with rainwater. That's the trickiest part of that situation. Protein, not a problem. Right. How would you survive the Battle of Stalingrad if you had a time machine and went back to World War II? I don't know. I would need to see the situation better. You'd have to boil the salt water and find some kind of pot. No, I wouldn't. No, boiling the salt water is not going to desalinate it. You're going to have to do some stuff with evaporation. How would you survive it? That's going to be tough too. Right. There's a lot of strategies to get salt out of the water. But fresh water with sand is super easy. Like if you have fresh water, you don't need to boil it. You're good. But yeah, you're going to have to do stuff with evaporation. You're going to have to do stuff with collecting rainwater. I mean, I can make bowls. I can make ways to store rainwater. And then even if the rainwater gets really dirty and puddles or pools, we can filter it. Sand filtration is easy enough because it's a beach. You got plenty of sand, right? Plus, you'd be surprised what you can get even for extra water from roots and stuff. You can get a little bit of salt water, just not a lot. Because if anything, tropical island, you're going to be sweating out electrolytes to some extent anyways. So a little bit of that's going to be kind of vital. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant, but I could do it. Then you just you fall into your routine, Right. Yeah. But I'd be trying to find a way to get rescued, obviously. That would be the other part too. A lot of your then extra time problem solving and boredom would be trying to figure out ways to create a way to get seen. Could you build some sort of flag or banner out of boar hides? Could I find a way to make them brighter? So you've been on the island for 1 month and you set up camp to visit. There's a bear on the island. What type of bear? Keeping in mind, all I have is a knife. No, that's not a specific type of bear. If you say polar bear, I'm already dead. This is a no-win. Fully grown polar bear, you're the biggest piece of meat on the island. I don't think you're making it a month. They will hunt you. It's a black bear. It's a black bear. I'm good. Now we start getting into brown bears. I'm going to need a strategy. Right. I'm going to need to find a way to track and take this bear down. Because it's going to be him or me. Now, polar bear, I'm already dead. I just statistically, I'm not getting out of this. He's not going to give me time or leave me alone long enough to figure something out. Black bear, easy enough to handle. Trapping him easy enough and making food out of him. The Hectorus malaris. I'll have to look at it. Give me a context. How similar is he to these others? You should start a survival show like Bear Grylls, maybe. Dude, you're not the first person to tell me that. Dude, some of my family wanted me to go on Survivor back in the day. They're like, you should try. You should go for it. Like, you probably would do okay. No, I don't think so. Right. Like a black bear, shorter fur, more aggro. Still, different temperament than the brown bear, much smaller. I'd probably be able to figure out a way to trap him. I got bamboo and stuff to work with. If I had a way to trap it, kill it, eat it. Right? They have a sloth-like face and are good climbers. Well, all bears are good climbers. If he's like a black bear, we know he's a good climber. Right? But that's food. I want to see Jason arm naked in the right way. I don't know about all that. I just haven't been outdoorsy in a long time, guys. I used to be very outdoorsy in a variety of climates. It's just been a long time. I prefer the comforts of my house. People say that they're like, you talk about comforts, but you run barefoot on the asphalt and stuff. I'm like, well, that's not that uncomfortable. I just don't like digging through the woods and getting eaten by bugs and traipsing through the mud anymore. Right. I'm not in my early 20s. They can swim well and they're extremely fast, use clothes. Yeah. Right. I've gotten soft in my old age, other than running barefoot on the concrete. Do you do much swimming? I do zero swimming. So I would say that qualifies as not much. It's been a while. Last time I've been swimming was at pool parties years ago. Parties. But I don't get out and swim actively. No, I just don't feel like it. I just don't have a reason to do it. Just don't feel like swimming. There's no specific reason. Plus, I film all my training, so if I'm doing that, I've got to set up a camera somewhere and film for you guys me swimming if I'm doing it for exercise. So then it would have to be in a social setting, not an exercise situation, in which case you guys don't know about it. I haven't been to the beach, like an ocean beach, in over 10 years. Last time I've been to an ocean, like a coastline ocean beach, not freshwater, was, I guess, maybe 2013 while I was living in the UK. You know? Yeah, no, I'm not taking a day off from my business and work to go find some way to go travel to a beach with people. You know, it's not like there's nice beaches anywhere near me. I'm north of Houston, guys. Like Galveston is not exactly. So, we're talking about a significant time investment to go to a beach. And I got a business to run 7 days a week. So, how often do you vacation? I haven't taken a day off of work since Christmas. Did you ever go to the Liverpool? No, I've never been to Liverpool. I've been to some of the stuff along the South Coast while I was there. Right. That's what I've heard. I've heard the Liverpool's nothing nice. Did you go? No, I actually never made it to London while I lived in the UK. I made it to Cardiff, made it to Birmingham, all those places. Last time you took a few weeks? Never. As an adult, I've never done that even once. As a kid, yeah, growing up as a kid, family vacations. But as an adult, I've never done that, not once. And I'm 48. Yeah. Again, I run a full-time business, not even an option on the table. Ever been to Phoenix, Arizona? I've been to Arizona. I didn't quite make it to Phoenix. I've been along the edge. We didn't really do a lot over there. Mostly when I was living in New Mexico in high school, we went up to Colorado. I do lots of stuff I enjoy, Philip. I think you're projecting what you enjoy with what I enjoy. Does that make sense? So I think you're projecting that what you think would be an enjoyable life or the things that bring you joy is what I should do. And to me, walking away from my business for that long would be so stressful. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Like it would be hell. No, like I would have so much anxiety that it would be unenjoyable. No, I do like to watch movies, TV to wind down. Sometimes I do it to fall asleep. Sometimes, like I put shows on when it's bedtime, and I just fall asleep at a point and turn a fan on. Coach is the goat. Yep. But that being said, I don't even think you guys should know that. That's too much of my personal life for the internet. That's non-training life. What? I don't know about that, Deuce. If you have fun doing your job, you won't work a day in your life. I enjoy my fitness stuff. I actually enjoy a lot of my coaching, to be fair. Some coaching would be frustrating, but by and large, it's fairly enjoyable. The good definitely outweighs the bad. All right, guys. I might wind this down. You guys have gotten 4 hours of live streams today, haven't we? I think that's sufficient. So before we get ready to go, let's rate the veins. Let's rate the forearms. How the veins doing today? Let's get a rating. All right. Rate the veins and we'll rate forearms and we'll check the quads. Hard and vascular, like you know what? Sleep tight. Solid right hand. How about the forearms? How are we doing on forearms today, guys? All right, good on forearms. All right, let's check the legs. Do a quad check. I think we're good. All right, guys. So legs 10 out of 10. Forearms, Alec. Good stuff, guys. I think we're about to wind it down. So, I'm going to give you guys a mount bicephius, so we're going to wind it down for the day. Oh, mount bicephius.